Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to tackle something pretty relevant if you're looking at tech careers, specifically IT assistant roles.
Right. We're diving into the interview process for that kind of job.
Exactly. We've got some great material here, mainly looking at common interview questions and, importantly, how to answer them effectively. We're leaning on a source from Interview Prep 20, it Assistant Interview Questions and Answers.
Yeah, and it's got advice from a certified career coach, which is helpful. Think of this as a way to get ahead, understand what they're really asking.
Our mission here is basically to give you, the listener, a shortcut. Understand the key skills, figure out how to talk about your experience, and hopefully feel more confident going in.
Or even just deciding if this path is right for you. It gives a good feel for the day-to-day demands.
Okay, let's jump in. The source lists 20 questions, and right away, you see it's not just about tech jargon. Question 1. What experience do you have with troubleshooting hardware and software issues? Seems basic, but what's the angle?
Well, it's direct, sure, but they want proof. Have you actually done it? Gotten your hands dirty fixing things?
So not just theory from a textbook.
Exactly. And the advice is good. Mention certifications if you have them, like CompTIA A+ AID. It gives a baseline.
Uh-huh.
But more than that, you need stories, specific examples. I fixed this printer issue by doing XYZ. Or I diagnosed a software conflict. That kind of thing.
Okay, makes sense. Show, don't just tell. Then there's this one. Describe a time when you had to provide technical support for an unfamiliar system or application.
This one's different. It's less about what you know and more about how you figure things out when you don't know.
Your learning process.
Precisely. Adaptability. Problem solving on the fly. Did you panic? Or did you have a method?
So what should you talk about?
Walk them through it. What steps did you take? Did you check online resources, manuals, ask a colleague? How quickly did you get up to speed and, actually solve the problem? That's the key.
Right, showing you can learn and adapt. Okay, here's one almost everyone can relate to. How do you handle the stress of working in a fast-paced IT environment?
Yeah, IT support can definitely be high pressure. Things break, users are stressed.
So they want to know if you'll crumble.
Pretty much. Or, more positively, how you stay effective. Do you have coping mechanisms? The source mentions things like taking short breaks, using to-do lists, staying organized.
Practical strategy.
Yeah, and focusing on troubleshooting efficiently, even when things are chaotic. It shows resilience.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting focus a bit.
Yeah.
Security, obviously critical. Are you familiar with network security protocols and best practices?
Yeah.
How deep do you need to go here?
Well, it's fundamental. A simple yes isn't enough. You need to show some understanding.
Like what?
Maybe give an example, mentioning things like firewalls, strong passwords, maybe two-factor authentication. Even better if you can link it to something you did, like helping users avoid phishing.
So practical awareness.
Exactly. And mentioning security certs helps, or even just saying you follow security news or blogs shows you take it seriously.
Yeah.
They need to know you won't be careless with company data.
And that ties into staying current, doesn't it? Which leads to explain your understanding of cloud computing and how it can be used to improve business operations.
This tests if you see the bigger picture, not just what cloud is, but why businesses use it.
So the benefits.
Right. Talk about things like remote access. Huge now, obviously. Cost savings, maybe, compared to managing all your own servers. Real-time updates. Scalability is a big one, too. Adjusting resources easily.
And connecting that to the business.
Yeah, like how it helps teams collaborate better or enables flexible work. Show you understand the business value, not just the tech definition.
Got it. See the strategy. And that really flows into the next one. What strategies do you use to stay up to date on new technologies and trends in the IT industry?
Because tech changes so fast. Right, you have to be learning constantly. It's not optional in IT.
So what's a good answer?
Be specific. Don't just say, I read stuff. Mention specific websites, online courses like Coursera or Udemy, maybe webinars you attended, tech podcasts, key people you follow on LinkedIn or Twitter.
Show you're actively engaged.
Exactly. It proves you're genuinely interested and proactive.
Okay, now let's talk about dealing with people, a huge part of IT support. Tell me about a time when you had to explain complex technical concepts to non-technical users.
The translator role. This is crucial. Can you bridge that gap?
How do you demonstrate that?
Use an example. The source mentions explaining a VPN. How did you break down the jargon? Did you use an analogy? Did you check they actually understood?
Patience and clarity.
And empathy. Understand they might be frustrated or confused.
Well,
Tailor your explanation.
right. Okay, moving towards slightly more advanced stuff. Do you have any experience managing projects related to IT infrastructure upgrades? Is this common for an assistant role?
Maybe not leading huge projects, but showing you can handle project-like tasks is a plus. It shows initiative and organization.
So even small examples count.
Absolutely. Talk about a specific task or upgrade you were involved in. What was the goal? What challenges came up? How did you help keep it on track? Even contributing positively is valuable experience.
Good to know. And related to managing tasks, how do you prioritize tasks when faced with multiple requests from different departments? That sounds like a daily reality.
Oh, definitely. This tests your organizational skills and how you handle pressure.
So what are they looking for?
A system. How do you decide what's urgent? How do you manage expectations if you can't do everything at once? Mentioning ticketing systems, assessing impact, communicating with users about timelines that shows you can manage the chaos.
Okay, let's hit some core technical skills. What is your experience with setting up and configuring computer systems? This feels like table stakes.
It really is. They need to know you can handle the basics. Setting up a new PC,
Mhm.
installing the OS, basic software.
How specific should you be?
Give examples. Mention specific operating systems, Windows, maybe some Mac OS or Linux if you know it, types of hardware you've set up, software you've installed. If you hit a snag and fixed it, mention that too. It adds depth.
Okay. Now, back to security and data. Very important. Have you ever implemented a backup and disaster recovery plan?
This is critical. Maybe you haven't designed a full corporate plan, but any experience counts.
Like what kind of experience?
Setting up backups for a small team, using tools like Carbonite, Acrotinus, maybe even Windows backup. The key is understand the why.
And the need to test them, right?
Absolutely. A backup isn't useful if it doesn't restore. Mentioning testing is a big plus.
And the follow-up. What steps do you take to ensure that all data is secure and confidential?
Again, multi-layered approach. Talk about strong passwords, MFA or 2FA, maybe basic encryption concepts. And don't forget the human element, reminding users about security best practices.
Any specific buzzwords?
Mentioning relevant certs like CASMEM or CEH is great if you have them. But even just showing solid awareness of common threats and countermeasures is good.
Okay. What about making things run smoother? What are your thoughts on using automation to streamline IT processes?
This shows forward thinking. Are you just fixing problems, or are you looking for ways to prevent them or make things more efficient?
Do you need coding skills for this?
Not necessarily deep coding, but understanding where automation could help, like automating simple data entry, running maintenance scripts, things like that.
So even expressing interest is good.
Definitely. Show you see the potential. If you do have any scripting experience, even basic stuff, absolutely mention it.
Right. Okay, the core of troubleshooting. How do you approach troubleshooting problems with networks, servers, and other IT equipment?
They want your methodology, your logical process. Do you just start randomly trying things?
Hopefully not.
It's exactly. Talk about gathering info first. Forming a hypothesis. Testing it systematically. Documenting what you find. Use a specific example. Again, walk them through how you solved a tricky network issue or server problem.
Show your thinking process.
Precisely.
And related, but focused on users. What strategies do you use to diagnose and resolve user complaints quickly and efficiently?
This blends technical skill with customer service. How do you get the information you need from a possibly frantic user?
Active listening, asking good questions.
Yes. And using tools effectively, remote desktop software, checking logs, maybe using a knowledge base or ticketing system. The goal is solving the problem efficiently and making the user feel heard.
Okay, documentation often gets overlooked, but it's important. Describe your experience with creating and maintaining documentation for IT systems.
Super important for consistency and knowledge sharing. They want to know if you value it.
What kind of documentation?
Could be anything. How-to guides for users, step-by-step troubleshooting procedures, network diagrams, inventory lists. Talk about why it's important for training, for faster fixes later. Show you understand its value.
Right, helps the whole team. Okay, back to security incidents. What would you do if you noticed suspicious activity on the company's network?
This isn't about being a hero. It's about following procedure.
So don't try to hack the hacker back.
Definitely not. The key is document what you saw, immediately report it to the right person, your manager, the security team, and then follow their instructions. It shows responsibility and understanding of escalation.
Got it. And sometimes interactions get tricky. How do you handle difficult conversations with clients or colleagues regarding IT issues?
The diplomacy test. Tech issues can be frustrating for everyone.
Stay calm.
Crucial. Stay calm, listen actively, really try to understand their frustration. Empathy helps a lot. Acknowledge the problem and focus on finding a solution together. Again, a brief example works wonders here.
Makes sense. Okay, nearly there. A couple that seem a bit more strategic. What experience do you have with developing and implementing IT policies and procedures?
You might not have written policy as an assistant, but you've definitely followed policies.
So talk about that.
Yes. Show you understand why policies exist for security, for compliance, for standard operations. Talk about how you adhere to acceptable use, data handling, or software installation policies. That shows understanding and responsibility.
And the last one. What methods do you use to evaluate the effectiveness of IT solutions? How would an assistant even do that?
It's about having an analytical mindset. How do we know if this new software or system is actually working well?
So think about feedback, performance.
Exactly. Mention things like gathering user feedback, looking at performance metrics. Is the system faster?
Oh.
Is uptime better? Are users more satisfied? Mentioning tools used for monitoring, like Splunk or Datadog if you know them, shows another level of understanding.
It shows you're thinking about results.
Right. Not just implementing tech, but making sure it delivers value.
Wow, okay. So we've covered a lot of ground digging into these typical IT assistant questions. It's really clear it's a mix of skills they're after.
Absolutely. Technical skills are the foundation, the troubleshooting, the setup. But the soft skills are just as vital.
Problem solving, communication, learning quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And security awareness, staying organized, working well with people, especially non-technical users.
Hmm.
It's a well-rounded role.
So for everyone listening, maybe take a moment to think about where your strengths lie within that mix, what comes naturally.
Uh-huh. And also what areas might need a bit more focus or development, even if you're not actively job hunting for this role right now.
That's a great point, because these skills, they seem pretty transferable, don't they, when you think about how much tech is part of every job now.
It makes you wonder, right? Things like troubleshooting complex issues, explaining things clearly, always learning. How could those core abilities be valuable in fields completely outside of IT?
Something to think about. It definitely broadens the perspective.
For sure. And if you want to explore any of these questions or answers in more detail, definitely check out the source material or revisit this discussion. It's all about being prepared.
Great advice. Thanks for digging into this with me.
My pleasure. Good stuff to cover.